some scholarship opportunities coming up, and some other general reminders that I want to make sure that you are aware of. First off, Community Foundation scholarships. I've sent the link. It's in your Google Classroom. It's on the local scholarship list. I also send an email directly to you students. Be sure to check that out. There are a variety of scholarship opportunities. So it's one application for the different scholarships. You can go in there and see the criteria for each one of those, but that is due on the 28th, so just a few days from now. The reason that that is due ahead of the date that's listed on the website is because I have to do my part before you can submit your application. So that's why I'm requiring that you submit your counselor form by the 28th so that I have time to process everyone so that we can get them all processed in time. Next up, FAFSA Friday. That is just an opportunity for you to get a book scholarship, and all you have to do is send me a confirmation that you have completed your FAFSA, and then I'll put you in the drawing. We've had a couple winners now. Easy way to get money, and all you have to do is email me, again, confirmation that you have completed the FAFSA. Next up, local scholarship forum. Be checking that every week. I know many of you do. These are just opportunities that previous New Albany High School students have won, and you want to make sure that you're checking that list at least once a week. Typically every Monday I update it, but sometimes throughout the week I'll hear of something or I'll learn of something and I'll throw it on there. Next up, mid-year transcripts. I have sent many of those out already. There may be a few more that I need to send out this week, but if for whatever reason your university is saying they have not received their mid-year transcript for you, just let me know and I can make sure that I get that processed. Next, let's talk again about the financial aid basics. Now, I've talked a lot about this throughout the school year. I don't want to jump on it too much, but the whole idea is to lower the cost of higher ed. A college degree is very expensive. The good thing for you, you're at New Albany High School. You've been able to take care of dual credits, hopefully. If not, hopefully you're following the FAFSA and then working towards earning scholarships. Scholarships, obviously, we don't pay back. Work study, that's when you get a job on campus and help pay for tuition. Now, you can only get that if you file the FAFSA. Of course, grants we don't pay back. Those are all of the ways that we want to receive money for higher ed. Loans, there are different types of loans. They're not all the same, subsidized versus unsubsidized. These are the way that we package the financial aid together to help offset the cost of that college degree. Now, the FAFSA went live October 1st. About 15% of the senior class has already filed yours. I'd like to see that number way up. You're going to have to file it every year. So I'm always going to be here to help, but specifically this year we've had a variety of like FAFSA nights and other assistance to help you to file it. If you need any other assistance, please let me know. We're working on another FAFSA night with Ivy Tech right now. But you can go to FAFSA.gov for more information. And also for those who have not filed the FAFSA, if you're just curious what you may get, you can actually go to FAFSA Forecaster and get an estimate of what you may get for college. Now, generally speaking, again, this is how it works. You file the FAFSA, prior year tax information, your parent or guardian, and yours if you have a job. Then that information goes to the Department of Education. The Department of Education then comes up with the EFC number, the estimated family contribution. That is not the number that you have to pay for school. That is a number that they think that you can pay for school. So that's the EFC number. Next, universities calculate what's called their COA, their cost of attendance. That is the direct and indirect cost of that school. So the direct cost would be those non-negotiables, the tuition, the fees, the on-campus housing. The indirect costs are, again, just guesses by the institution, what they think you're going to pay for books, what they think you're going to pay for transportation or personal expenses. They combine those two numbers and then they have their COA. Well, how financial aid offices operate for each of these colleges is they subtract those two numbers, the estimated family contribution and the cost of attendance of the school. And whatever that number is, if you qualify, they try to package different financial aid elements, if you will, to help offset that cost. So that's kind of how it all works when it comes to government funding, both at the federal and the state level. Now, let's say that you filed your FAFSA. I filed my FAFSA. I sent confirmation to Mr. Bobbitt. Now what? First, make sure that it's processed. You can log on to FAFSA.gov or on the My Student Aid mobile app just to verify that you have submitted your FAFSA. Your application should be one of the following. It's either processing, it's processed successfully, it's still missing signatures, or further action are required. So if it's processing, it could take 3 to 5 days. If it's processed successfully, you're good to go. Missing signatures, we need a FSA ID so that you can sign it. Or if there's some further actions, it'll say what you need to do, or you need to contact your school. Let's understand our full impact of filing the FAFSA. So first, the FAFSA is your application for federal and state aid, those grants that many of you have asked about. Your information for the FAFSA can only be shared if you go on and say, I want to, onto FAFSA.gov and select the universities that you want to send your EFC and your student aid report to. So once the universities or the colleges get that information, then they can put together a financial aid package. Now, some schools may request some additional information from you, and I'll get to that here in a second. It's called verification. But you need to be checking your email, not only here, your student email. And look, I get it. You're getting swamped. There's a lot of Google Classroom notifications, and I'm emailing you, and it's a lot. I get that. However, it is so important that we get in a habit of checking our email routinely. These colleges and these universities, this is how they're going to communicate with you. And most of the time, a simple, well, I didn't know, is not going to be good enough. So we need to be checking that to see, because you don't want to be in a situation where you sent your information to a school, they selected you for verification, you didn't check your email, it got buried in your email. Next thing you know, it's April and we still don't have a financial aid award letter. And then we contact the school and they say, well, you still haven't done what you needed to do. Okay, so be checking that so that we can fix any issues that come up. Next, you want to review your student aid report. Your SAR is just the data from the FAFSA that you put in a summary. And you'll get your SAR within 3 days typically, but it could take longer depending on when you submit it. And then make sure that you look over the SAR, because if there are corrections that need to be put in or updates, you can do that, but it's important that we make those as soon as possible. What not to expect with your SAR. So I've had a lot of students who've emailed me and say, Mr. Bobbitt, great news. I filed my FAFSA. I got my SAR, but it doesn't say anything about grants. You said something about the Pell Grant. You said something about the SEOG grant or the Franco-Bannon. Your SAR is just a summary of the information that you put on the FAFSA. You'll find out what your financial aid award letter is from the institutions that you apply to and get admitted to. So I apply to Indiana University Bloomington. I get accepted. I send my FAFSA. Their financial aid calculates my financial aid package and then can send it to you. Sometimes they'll send it to you electronically. Sometimes they'll put it in their student accounts, whether it's their Purdue's portal or the 1IU or ULink for University of Louisville. But be checking those, because you could get your award letter that way. And again, it's going to vary. Some institutions were sending them before we went on holiday break, and some will wait until late spring, early summer. Verification. Some of you may get selected for verification from the school. And all this is the university or the college requesting that you verify the information that you put on the FAFSA. You did nothing wrong. Your parents did nothing wrong. This is just a standard operating procedure with the financial aid offices across higher ed to verify that you put down accurate information for your FAFSA. So if you do get selected for verification, it is no biggie. Just go and find out what they need from you, and then we can process the paperwork accordingly. Let's say you're in a situation where you're looking at the SAR and you're like, you know what? I need to update that, or I put in the wrong thing. You can make corrections. Follow the screen, go to FAFSA.gov, log in using your FSA ID, and then there's a page that you can select to make FAFSA corrections. Now, once you get your student aid report, or I mean your award letter from these institutions, be sure to send it my way. Give me a copy. You could scan it. You could take a picture of it. If you're in the building, you could stop by and let me look at it, so that I can just make sure I can explain anything that you have questions about, and then I can help you just make sense of all of it. Because sometimes it can get a little confusing and depend on the universities. They may package it a little weird. So I just want to make sure that you know of all the opportunities and how they're being presented. Outside of the FAFSA, some other reminders. Class night will take place on 5/26, that is May 26th, and commencement is on the 29th. At this time, I don't have any further information on what it's going to look like, but I have had some questions there, so I wanted to let you know that 5/26 is class night. Also, please send in just another reminder out here. Local awards form. That is the top item on my scholarship list. It has been my top item on the scholarship list since early September, and I still have seniors who have not completed it. One of the big traditions here at New Albany High School is class night, are those local community awards. And some of you have come to me and said, Mr. Bobbitt, where's some other scholarship opportunities? And then I look and you haven't done local awards for them. So please make sure that you knock that out. If you have any questions, I am here. Also, continue to send me your acceptance letters and your scholarship letters, your military enlistments if you're going into trade school. For those who are in the building, you see it. But for those who are not, every time one of you get into a college or a university, I'm reaching out to that college or university to get a pennant, and I'm putting it up in the main atrium just to celebrate your accomplishments. And I think it's going to look really cool at the end of the year when we can sit back and look at all the amazing things that the class of 2021 has accomplished during this difficult year. So I think that's enough for today. Seniors, continue the great work that you're doing. Keep me posted if I can help in any way. You know my email address at this point. Have a good day. Have a great week. And just keep me posted if you need anything. Thanks.